Hello and welcome to the Mighty 90s Movie and TV Podcast. I'm Simon.
I'm Dom.
I'm Todd.
I'm Shawna.
And on this episode, we are diving into The Little Giants. Hey! Welcome to the Mighty 90s Movie and TV Podcast, where it's always 10:30 at night, so it's time to grab the snacks from the sweet cupboard, move upstairs and settle in, as tonight's movie for debate is The Little Giants. So Dom and I are honoured today to have two special guests with us. We have, of course, Todd Bosley, who played Jake in The Little Giants, and, of course, potentially the most important fictional sports character of all time, Shawna Waldron, Becky IceBox O'Shea. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Right. Yeah, you got a lot to live up to there, Shawna.
Making me blush right now.
Todd, I feel like I did you a disservice on that intro.
No, it was perfect.
I love you guys.
I'm also suddenly very aware that every now and again when I move here that you can see Nicolas Cage in the background.
Oh, it's fantastic.
As you should,
I mean, I'm assuming he is why you both got into acting in the first place, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
How
Shawna,
many?
don't you have like a book owned by Nick Cage?
Huh?
Didn't you go to an estate sale from Nick Cage?
I did. I went to Nicolas Cage's estate sale, and I bought. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, I have to go to this." And it was like so weird, like a mix of Western motif with like maybe 15th century antique Renaissance. Like it was just the two, just like it was amazing. I actually got this book by Crispin Glover, the father from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's signed by him. And everyone's like, "Oh, there's this weird occult book," and I was like, "Oh, really? That sounds like some weird shit. Let me see that." And I was like, "This isn't a cult. I mean, it's definitely odd because Crispin Glover is a wonderfully odd, just fascinating man." So anyway, I bought the book and I have it. He like autographed it to Nicolas Cage's wife. But yeah, that was one hell of a thing. Beautiful house. So weird. Estate sales are so weird because, you know, you're just walking through a snapshot of somebody else's life for like 1 second, and I don't know.
Is it weird that I imagined him signing it to Nicolas Cage's wife and that he actually wrote out to Nicolas Cage's wife?
Cage's wife?
I
No, I could see that happening. It's pretty awesome. Actually, he stood behind me in line at the drink cart at the Ghost World premiere, and I was like, I wanted so badly to say how great he was, but I just didn't want to bother him, you know. But he's cool. He's a cool, kooky guy.
That's amazing. I would love to go to a sale of Nicolas Cage's things. How amazing.
Dude, I bought so much stuff.
Can you tell us more? Like, what do you have?
Oh God, no! It was just like.
Sorry, I didn't mean to open up this bag of worms there, Shawna.
No. Actually, my friend Brandon Bird. I don't know if you've ever. He's an artist. He does all this like pop culture stuff. He has a picture of a snow monkey holding its baby, and the baby is like looking right at the camera, and the baby has Nicolas Cage's face. It was in the background of Difficult People, which is like one of the most amazing TV shows ever. But anyway, that's like I actually have a couple of Nicolas Cage artwork pieces myself. He's amazing. Like you're either going to get like the most amazing Oscar-worthy performance, or just like a batshit crazy. He's had a bad day, but still has to.
He never does anything half-assed. It's always
yeah, like you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Marcus and I, we used to watch, his horrible, like, straight to Netflix movies. And there was one, I think, called Rage or something like that. And we're like, the whole movie, we're like, all right, when is he going to uncage the beast? And then he does. You're like, yes, uncage the beast.
We've covered quite a couple of Nicolas Cage films, Con Air. We just did Face Off. And it's kind of a running joke that I love him. And it's not a joke. It's
not a joke. This is not a joke. This is fact. You are in love with the guy.
Great. He's great. I don't blame you. I mean,
it's
what
fine. My wife is aware of it. She knows it's it's an understanding, you know. But
she knows you're hopping on a plane and leaving her if he comes around.
She doesn't have a picture on the wall. I've noticed your wife does not feature, but Nicolas Cage does.
that's right. This is like the office I work in for like my 9 to 5 job, and so sometimes I'll just be sat here working, and if I'm a little bit bored, I'll just look over and just a little smile at Nicolas Cage and feel a little bit better inside.
You've seen the meme where you can blow on it and his hair moves, right?
Of course.
What?
Todd, come on, you've seen it.
Airflow for his hair.
Blow on the screen and his hair like moves.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I'll send it to you later.
I've seen the trying to feed Ryan Gosling one.
I haven't seen that.
Trying to feed Ryan Gosling cereal. You haven't seen that one?
No. Send that to me and I'll send you the other one.
Okay, good. Deal.
Just to say, that is Simon's office, and it's where before lockdown began we would do our podcasts and stuff like that together, so we'd be sitting in the same room, and there is quite a bit of Little Giant stuff in that room as well. So although you can only see the Nicolas Cage and the Lost stuff, there's Little Giants. So there's a
Awesome.
there's a sports card that's got IceBox on it, so it's you, Shawna, and there's a few other bits
wow.
on it as well.
Wow.
I don't think I've even ever seen those.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you know, Shawna, that you have a sports card, like a baseball type card?
Really?
This. You seen this?
Oh wow, no. That's cool.
I'm sorry.
I'll Google that later. That's interesting.
I'm sorry they didn't have one of you, or I would have got it, Todd. I would have. But, these were done by an artist in San Francisco, and they're sort of fictional sports characters. They have them of like the Mighty Ducks and Sandlot.
My hair. I gotta wash my hair. Sorry, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized I'm like, Jesus Christ, as I'm looking at myself.
I know, it's like I haven't had a haircut in 2 months.
Cool.
It's just like, oh gosh.
I wonder. I'll take a look and see who they've got. I know a couple of people from different things. Maybe they've got ones of them.
Yeah, well, that's quite a special thing. And
that's really cool.
I'm looking up here because I've got quite a few of them up there. But I think that you're one of 3 of like female characters. So I think that's what makes your character and the movie even more prolific, is that it's centering around a female protagonist in sport, and she's the best player like on both teams. So it's not even just about that, like where you've got female characters in the Mighty Ducks that don't even really play into it. They're just like in the background. Like, I mean, you must have heard that before. I mean,
yeah, they're great though. I mean, and I actually grew up figure skating, so having the figure skater in the Mighty Ducks I thought was really cool when I watched it. I thought that was cool. But I know exactly what you mean though. I know what you're saying. Not to diminish the other characters, but yeah, she is one of the few that doesn't give a shit. Who's like, who actually knows how to play and wants to and is independent, and it's I always see it as something very special. It's special.
Todd, how did you get into acting? Because we had Marcus Toji on an episode, which was awesome. So firstly, if this is your first time listening to our podcast, we have done a whole episode on the Little Giants, going through scene by scene with Marcus Toji, and it was a great honor and pleasure to have him on. And yeah, so there's great insight into that. And he was telling us, Todd, that you were best man at his wedding.
I was, yeah. That was something. I don't know if he told you the story about the rap party after Little Giants had okay. Oh, okay. This is the story. The speech I gave at his wedding. I always tell to everybody because it's a great story. So we had we'd shot for close to 5 months, and it was a very long shoot. It was
super long,
very very slow going, and so we were filming, and then they scheduled the wrap party for, you know, to celebrate end of filming. But unfortunately, I don't know who planned it, but they scheduled the wrap party when there was still a week of shooting left to go. And so the party was happening, and then Shawna and Marcus and a bunch of the other kids decided to go play some soccer, because we were filming the last football scene. It was filmed at this equestrian center in Burbank, California, that they converted into like this football field. So we went into some like other like indoor arena, like horse arena, to play soccer. And Marcus, being the wise man that he is, decided to make me the goalie. And you know how big I was in those days. I was that's Shawna's very accurate. That big, and which I always say, it's like it's just not even good in a strategy sense.
Todd shouldn't even be playing soccer.
Yeah, you need to get
let alone
big
be the guy that people are
block
kicking a ball at.
No. So anyway,
everyone's like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So literally the first ball that's hit my way that I try to block, I block with my hand and it snaps my wrist. I break my wrist.
I mean, just right back.
Yeah. So then you know, I had to go to the hospital, get it casted up, and a week of shooting left. So if you notice, the scene where we're all like on the monkey bars, I don't know why, but for some reason we shot that scene like months apart. So you'll see the wide shot of me going across the monkey bars, and then it cuts to the close-up of me before I drop down, and you'll notice that all of a sudden I have long sleeves to cover up this cast. So
is it just one or is it both? It's been a while.
What do you mean?
Was it just one sleeve or was it both sleeves?
Well, yeah, they had both sleeves just to make it, you know, even. But yeah.
Stuff like that, or we.
Yeah. So that was the speech I gave, is how Marcus broke my wrist.
Basically, you needed the pads that your mum in the movie tried to make you wear. If you'd had that playing soccer, you would have been fine.
I know. Yeah.
Dude, that would have gone right. It still would have gone right through that.
Yeah.
I think, weren't we playing with adults as well? And it was an.
I don't remember that. I just remember as kids.
I just remember like it being ridiculously fast, and oh my god, I was right next to you when I heard that. I heard bone. You don't forget bone snapping. Oh.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Me neither.
Don't either.
It's still the one and only bone I've ever broken.
So can I ask how you guys got involved in Little Giants? Because assuming it was both of your like first credits or entry in, like, was it something that you were part of like an agency, or you were, you know, doing, you know, drama and performing arts at school, or how did you get into the Little Giants?
You go first, Todd.
I'm sure. Well, I'm originally from Kansas City, and so it was kind of a weird thing. Growing up, I was never really much of an athlete, for obvious reasons. But I took dancing classes, like tap dancing classes and stuff when I was a kid, and it was fun. But I think, you know, as time went on, it was more like I enjoyed being goofy and making people laugh while doing it. I wasn't, you know, in it to really become a truly, you know, great dancer. So I think the teacher had told my mom, like, hey, you know, you should think about getting him an agent, you know, because he's a natural, you know, performer. And so she said, oh, okay. And so I got like a local agent, a local Kansas City agent, and I did like one local grocery store commercial, And then my agent got word of this nationwide search for Little Giants, this big Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah,
so I put myself on tape and sent it in, and then about a month later, she gets a call back saying that they want to see another tape from me. So I put myself a tape again, and then another month or so goes by, and then they said they wanted another tape. So I think I sent like 4 tapes in, and then eventually they're like, we would like you to fly up to LA for callbacks and to meet Steven Spielberg, because it was his production company and he had final say and everything. So so I met him, auditioned for him, and then flew back to Kansas City. About a couple of weeks later, got the call that I had gotten it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nationwide search, so it took forever.
Yeah. I think they said they saw something like 10,000 kids or something.
For my first audition, I was I had just come. I remember I was trying to like grow crystals on. They have those like they still have the sets where you can grow crystals on rocks. For kids, and I had just hefted this like massive boulder into the back of my parents' trunk, and I was just like covered in dirt, and all these other girls at the audition were wearing like jerseys and had like perfectly combed hair, and I just looked like I got beat the fuck up. And I remember my mom wanting me to brush my hair, and I was like, there's a dog in the hallway, because the casting director had this big golden retriever, and I'm like, I just want to pet the dog, So my mom was cool. She wasn't one of those weird moms, she was like, all right, do what you want. And Dwayne came out. Dwayne was the director. Dwayne came out and saw me and talked to me, and he's like, that's when I wanted you to, he's like, that's when I knew that like I wanted you to be in it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Dwayne was like the director was like the nicest guy in the world too. But
my mom had the biggest crush on him.
Yeah, he was just a gentleman all around.
Yeah, he's this long gray mane, and my mom's like, "Oh, he's so cool."
Yeah, I'm sure all the other people. I'm sure, I can see that. Wasn't he like an editor for Star Wars and all that?
Yep.
He, like edited
for Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Anyway, and he just edited the recent Twin Peaks, which was like blew my mind. Editing
I still haven't seen it. I gotta see that. Yeah.
Dude, what? Todd? Well, hey, what else are you gonna do right now, man? PS4 he hasn't plugged in. I'm like, please plug that in and we can play some Call of Duty. Like, what else are you doing right now?
Not a damn thing.
Todd! Strangled your neck through the thing. Anyway, I came back for like 4 or 5, 6 auditions before they were like, okay, we want you, but we're literally going to go to like every other state and look before say yes.
Well, I was gonna say, it's like, I don't know if I ever told you the story. Like a couple of years ago, I think I was in Nashville, and I was just at some bar, and this guy comes up to me and it's like, hey, this is gonna sound weird, but I was originally cast as your part in that movie. Yeah. Which is weird because I vaguely remember when we were doing the whole callbacks thing, meeting this other kid, and then
that's what I was just about to get to. I was like,
okay,
yeah, because like, but he was never cast. No, so they cast me first, and then I had like test auditions with like Michael Rappaport and who else? Somebody else.
That would have been a very different film.
Oh yeah, Jesus, Randy freaking Quaid. Randy Quaid and Michael Rappaport.
And Gary Busey.
And crazy test auditions with them, and then they brought in 2 of each of your guys' character, and had us hang out to see who got along, who had like chemistry. And they were like, who do you like? And I was like, that one, because we all like hung out. Like, we had that big photo shoot, remember?
Yeah.
Which I think they ended up using those photos for the poster, right?
No, because I remember, if you remember, Brad, my brother, is in the poster.
Is he?
Yeah. You don't see his face. You just see his butt and in the front. He was one of the cowboys.
No.
He's
You're
at the very back.
Yeah.
He's the closest one to Ed O'Neill. Because they were like short. They were short kids, and he was there, and they're like, "Hey, get this outfit on."
All right, we're Googling this.
There's a couple things in there. You got to let us unpack some of this. You're dropping bombs here.
And also, my brother is in the movie. If you guys notice the whole train track scene when the whole montage of getting the new kids and one by one they walk up to join the group.
Show me the poster. God.
The
Johnny's character.
Yeah, Johnny Venaro. His character.
You're right there, Todd.
What?
You're right there on the poster.
No, I know I'm in there, but Brad is in there.
What?
Brad is the cowboy at the very back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, no. So my brother. So the day they were filming the train track scene, for some reason, J.P. Stoyer wasn't there, and so my brother kind of vaguely looked like him, but not really. So they're like, "Hey,
they kind of had the same haircut.
Get on his wardrobe," and so they film him kind of in the background real quick. But if you look at it, you realize you could see that is not him at all. Like, that is not the same actor, but that's what they used.
You could have held something over your brother in that you were in a quality like early 90s kids sports movie, and he can say, "Oh no, I was in it too."
No, I mean he auditioned as well. He auditioned to be in it as well, and he never got any callbacks. But no, he was there, pretty much on set the whole time. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
They're like, just stay behind Troy. Stay behind Troy. That's your brother.
Yep.
Hi, Brad, by the way.
Yep.
Hi, Brad.
Yeah, no, but he was on set like the whole time. So he's a director. So he kind of got more into the behind the scenes aspect of it.
He's a really good director.
But yeah.
That's really cool. So, Shawna, did you audition for Spielberg as well?
Yeah. After all the waiting, months of waiting, they're like, so you can come in and meet him, and if he likes you, you'll get the part. And I remember going, oh, if he likes me, geez,
right, exactly. Yeah.
God, I've only grown up watching Temple of Doom over and over and over, and every movie he's ever.
Well, yeah, I remember because it was right after Jurassic Park came out, which I was obsessed with. And I was just, when they said, "Oh yeah, you're gonna meet the guy who made Jurassic Park,"
mind as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
As a 10-year-old, I remember just being like, "What did I just watch? Oh my god!"
Yeah. The only thing I remember about meeting him was waiting in his arcade at Amblin.
2-story arcade.
Yeah, he just had a 2-story arcade of all arcade games, and that was okay.
So cool.
Just play around until we call you in, and then I remember bringing us in groups, and so we lined up, and then Steven would go down the line and introduce himself. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you," or "Hey, yeah, I remember you. You did a great job in this thing." And he comes up to me and goes, "Hi, I'm Steven." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
That's a crazy thing to go to experience at such a young age. There really isn't much further heights to travel as an actor.
Oh no!
To be auditioning for.
It's all downhill from there. No.
That's not what I'm just saying that that's insane. And you were both selected for it, by him, and the casting. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I remember the second or third time I saw him, I went to shake his hand. He's like, "Oh no, we're on hugging basis now," and just he's just such a good, nice, he's just like, I don't know, a natural father to like
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. I mean, I only actually met him that one time. I mean, I know he came to set a couple times. I think I saw him around.
You were there. You were there when he came down and directed. It was all the stuff. It was, yeah, you were there. It's all the tryout stuff in the beginning. He came down and basically gave the directors, because the director and him were really good friends, gave him some
Right.
pointers
You mean for the callbacks? You mean?
No, when we were filming down by the lake for the first day, all the tryout stuff, you know, where we're all.
I wasn't in any of that.
Oh, that's right. Jesus, it's been like a hot minute.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I know he came for like for the.
That's right.
No, I know he came for like the last football scene. I remember like him, you know, I think I was doing something. I remember he pointed at me and waved or whatever. You hear stories, you know, he was like kind of like my champion in that movie because there were rewrites every day. I mean, I think there were something like 15 writers on that movie.
I have the original script, by the way.
Oh yeah, I probably do somewhere as well. But yeah, no, like things were being rewritten every day, and like even who got the final touchdown changed like probably half a dozen times. And
there were times where where Devin and I were supposed to kiss, we were supposed to high five, or we were supposed to hug, and I think we ended up like holding hands and like jumping up and down for a second. Like nobody knew what the hell, and nobody knew what the hell. Nobody.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I get some girls who are like, "Oh my God, you're so lucky you got to kiss Devin Sawa," who's like my brother. So I'm so happy we ended up never having to. But I was like, we never kissed. That's just in your own mind. You know,
You're watching the two people who are kissing. And,
yeah. I'm like, I'll think about Casper.
Yeah, because they originally had somebody else as junior.
For a while.
For a while, yeah. For like a month they filmed, I feel like.
Trained with us, right? No, was that his first? That was
his first thing, anyway. I think. Yeah.
I forget how
nice guy. Just the chemistry.
Weird.
Yeah.
That was weird.
So as actors then and as actors now, when they decide to completely change a cast member and you have to do loads of reshoots, are you like, oh, okay, it's quite easy because I already know what to do, I just have to hope they do, or is it this is a nightmare because I've already done this?
Well, I totally remember this distinct sense of loyalty between the kids with being like, you know, we're not going to be nice to the new guy, you know, this isn't fair, you know, and then Devin came in, it was like, hey, how you doing? It's not his fault, you know, like we just kind of like, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, and Devin was a lot older than us too, so it was kind of, you know, he had a different, you know, air about him, you know.
He was 15, I was 12, you were 10, you know. It was this like, he was like this older brother kid that was like, let me punch you in the arm because he was so annoying. I mean, you can imagine a 15-year-old boy, you know.
Yeah.
Hi, Devin, sweetheart. Good guy, you know, something. But he definitely wasn't a romantic interest for me at the time.
Right.
He had absolute perfect hair, though.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm talking out of school, but Shawna and Sam Horrigan, Spike had a bit of a thing during shooting.
He may have been cast because I thought he was cute.
Yeah.
When during the auditions, I was like, that one.
Yeah.
We described him in our Little Giants episode as like a miniature Biff Tannen from Back to the Future.
Yeah, well now he's like what was that show?
Beauty and the Geek?
That was it.
Yeah.
He's one of the beauties.
He was the beauty on Yeah.
Oh God. It's embarrassing, Todd.
What?
We did it in like the 12-year-old sense of like holding hands.
No, I know. I'm just giving some hot goss.
That's good. And you guys were enemies, Spike and the IceBox. Like it's Romeo and Juliet.
I know. Betrothed.
It's amazing that you two are still in contact and still friends. Was that something that, you know, just naturally, you know, you had great chemistry when you first met and it just went throughout filming? You just stayed in contact? I mean,
Kansas, so
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Kansas. I didn't move out to LA until right after high school. But then once I came out here, we reconnected and I've been close ever since.
Yes.
It's nice to see this. It's nice to see this side of it again. Because when we spoke to Marcus, he spoke so highly and fondly of both you two, and obviously Todd, you were his best man, but he spoke about how great your relationship still is, as a collective, and it is nice to get to, I suppose, meet you two as well and see that that's true, and it's nice that even though that feels like 100 years ago, it's that you're still got that bond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis is a legend and someone that is beloved by everyone. I can't imagine a single person ever, having anything but nice things to say about Rick Moranis. And this is, Marcus said the same. I mean, how did you guys find working with him in one of his last sort of live action movies before sort of semi-retirement?
Todd, you want to go first?
Yeah, you go.
You go first.
There you go.
I'll Rochambeau you.
Okay. Right.
One, two, three. Gosh darn it, Todd, on 3. Why'd you hesitate? All right, start again.
No, you won. I did.
Oh, I won. All right, you go first. I'll take it. I'm gonna do best.
Anyway. No, I mean, he was great. He was very professional. I mean, if I'm being honest, he didn't really interact with us a whole ton while filming. Because I know his wife was ill or had she already passed? I never remember. But
he just.
But yeah, he was more focused on his own kids, because I know it was like in his contract that he had to be allowed to be on the phone with his kids a certain amount of time each day. So he actually didn't hang around us a ton, but when he was around, he was perfectly professional and it was very, very easy to work. I mean, he's such a pro. It's very, very easy to work with.
Yeah, it was because we all grew up watching him too, so there, it was bittersweet. Can you just put yourself in his shoes? Can you even imagine being in that headspace? How can you even want to be funny, Right. But, and I think that's why a lot of the rewrites came in, because he just wasn't even in a headspace to be funny. Right. So he was like making it more about like the brothers' struggle, and it's like really at the end of the day, nobody wants to see that, And I remember when the movie was over, they were just going to bring out Ed and Rick to New York, and then all of a sudden they did like market testing and it was like, oh hey, they like the kids. So they were like, last minute, got to get her on a plane out to New York for the press stuff. And he said to me, he was like, I'll never forget him being so nice to me, which I was like, what the hell is happening? Because I'm used to him being like very reserved, like he kind of came in, did his stuff and would go, and he was like, how do you like your movie? And I was like, my movie? And he was just like, yeah, your movie. And he was so nice and like in my face. And I just remember going, I don't understand what's happening right now. And I think about it now and I'm like, Jesus, they must have done all this market research and realized like, because it was really about the kids to begin with. All of your roles got cut down to nothing, like nothing. You were all like just basic stereotypes of certain things. Like JP had like a whole scene about his dad being gone and all that stuff. And like, I had like, my whole audition scene was like 4 pages long of like convincing him to be a coach. And it got cut down to me running in, telling him he's going one line and then running back out and watching them having a scene from the street. That was like a 4-page long scene with the family. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, I think he realized that maybe after the movie was over. I don't know. Like, I just think he was in like a really weird headspace at the time and was kind of trying to do like a drama for some reason, like turning it into
but I think that's also kind of helped the movie though. It grounded it in a way. Like I always say, like I like how Ed's character is the antagonist, but he's not really a bad guy. Like,
he was never the bad guy.
Right.
You all just had a couple more lines, and they also weren't changing I mean, it was always, don't bother learning your lines the night before because they're going to change by the morning.
Oh yeah.
Like it was just, I mean, it must have been a nightmare for the writers. It must have been a bloody nightmare.
Well, yeah, and I told you like I mean, yeah, because there was tons of stuff that
it used to be O'Shea family at the end, and he had them change it to the O'Shea brothers at the end. I always bugged the shit out of me too.
Right.
I was like, so I guess
they cut Becky out.
Right.
I guess the bitch that got all this shit going just doesn't matter at all. I don't know. It's like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, because everything was changing so much. I remember the first time, like, I had a bunch of scenes that I was supposed to do that they either cut out totally or gave to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I remember, what was it? I think it was Danny's gag of like holding on to the jersey being dragged. It was originally going to be me, and then they gave it to Danny. And I remember my mom being so upset. Like my mom had no sense of anything. She would go up to Dwayne, easily, and so I remember I wasn't there, but I heard the story. Like she went up to Dwayne and was like, "Come on, that was his his biggest scene," and he was like, "We're gonna give him something else. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay." And then that was literally the next day was when I did the whole mirror scene,
nice.
which I don't know if you guys know, was totally improvised. Like that was literally just they built this little set of my room. They moved everybody, cameras in there. Dwayne was like, "Okay," I'm in my PJs, no shirt on. It's like, "All right, start flexing and just do whatever you want." So literally for 30 minutes, I would just I want to pump you up. I was just making that shit up.
You were adorable.
I remember like so I was like I shot for like 30 minutes, and after each long take, they'd cut and everyone would just crack up. Was just applauding, and I think that was the moment I think that they thought, okay, we can give him more to do, and because I mean I might be wrong, but I feel like maybe a quarter of my dialogue was ad-libbed. I'm pretty sure, because like I said, like it was so much rewrites. Like they didn't.
Wasn't there a I remember like a dialogue coach at one point trying to like
there was
do a higher register and not have such a deep voice or something, and
Me?
you wasn't it something like that for like 2 seconds, and then the director was like, what are you doing? Like, well, she told me not to, and he was like, no, go back to it or something. I just remember like
I've always had this weird deep voice thing. But yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, I remember thinking that was ridiculous. I was like, how can he not do his? I don't understand.
On our episode with Marcus, he was saying that he was at a hockey game. I think it was a hockey game with you once.
Oh yeah.
They actually played on like the Jumbotron, the Little Giants doing the pump.
Yeah, I was there. I was at the game. It was my first Kings game at Staples Center, and they had the flex cam. So there's montage of all different movies of where people flex. And then I come out there, and then I was like, whoa! I was like, should I sue them? Like, should I be paying money for this? Like,
image rights right there. Image rights.
Oh my God.
That's a good segue actually, because so we've done a few of these with cast members from classic '90s movies. We had Raul D. Lewis on from Cool Run-Ins. We had Matt Doherty on from The Mighty Ducks. We just had Brandon Baker on, who was Johnny Tsunami, and all of these classics, and two more to add to the Mount Rushmore. But with asking them without giving any specifics or anything, obviously no specifics, but now that these films are getting back into rotation in terms of like people our age are getting older, having kids, etc., and they're going on to streaming services. Like I know Little Giants wasn't a Disney movie, but they go on to Netflix and Amazon and whatever. Is this something where you start to get a little check in the mail every now and again because it's going back into circulation?
Oh, it never stopped being in circulation.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, you
that's why it's still there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
we get residuals, every couple months.
It's awesome.
Yes. I'm starting to think that me and Simon need to get ourselves a part in a film somewhere. Just like that will be a really niche little film, and then just earn a little bit of cash out of that every.
I know,
so on. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, actually, the
ball on a table. You got like.
Well, I did a couple episodes of Seinfeld when I was a kid too, and that was like the best gig I've gotten in terms, because like every month I'll get a check, and I'm like, oh, that was. I guess being on the biggest show ever is pretty helpful.
Yeah, so I think your interaction with Robin Williams on Jack is still the best. Yeah. I want to get water really quick. You should.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
That's so funny that Shawna just said that, because I really wanted to ask you about that, Todd. I know Don would as well, because we're massive Robin Williams fans, and you've been in so many things, Todd, that I love. You were in the OC at one point, right?
I was. Wow. You even know the OC. Wow. But Jack was awesome. I mean, Jack. Okay. I mean, I will say. I mean, if you like Jack, that's awesome. I don't think Jack is a very good movie, but the experience of making it was the best. I mean, Robin was the best person to work with, like by far. Of anybody who I've worked with, he was just so kind and so supportive, and it never felt like work. I think that was like the main thing, was like, because it was such, because you're just fucking around the whole time, like, how such a great improviser he was, and how. Like he wasn't on all the time. Like I think that's kind of a misconception. Is like like when he was on talk shows, you just go off crazy, and the host would never have to even ask him anything. He would just go crazy. He wasn't really like that. I mean, he if he heard something that he can make a joke out of, he'll go off for 10 minutes. But generally, he was a very quiet kind of guy. But but I think I remember him saying that he kind of felt it was his responsibility to entertain the crew, like when days got long and stuff. So like that was mostly when he would go off, was just to give the crew kind of a break.
Sort of take the pressure on it, responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but that was all crazy as well, because like because I was still living in Kansas City when I got that as well. So it was like right after Little Giants, and I was at a summer camp. It was like my one and only time I actually had a summer camp, when I got the call to put myself on tape for Jack. So I just had some camp counselor put me on tape, and I ended up getting it. So it was like, oh wow, okay, I guess I don't know. It was. So at times I'm like, oh man, if only I were young again. Like back in the good old days, seemed so easy to get these jobs.
As long as you're having a good time, Todd, and enjoying it, at some point we have to get you back to talk about Treehouse Hostage.
Oh my God. Treehouse Hostage.
Is that good? Is that a good expression or a bad expression?
Well, no. Sure, I'm just surprised. I'm surprised you guys know about all these. Now, here's the question: have you guys seen Lloyd?
I had not.
I would be extra surprised if you guys had seen that. But I have been surprised. There are people who've come up to me and it's like, "Oh, I love you in that movie," and I'm like, "You saw that?" But no, I'm
It's
glad.
like, I had fun making that, but I didn't watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Pretty much. Not far off.
Holy snakies.
Speaking of making films, one thing that Simon and I often talk about when we talk to the actors like yourselves is we always talk about sequels, and if there isn't a sequel, we want to make a sequel. So would you be in Little Giants 2 if we can get the ball rolling? Sure.
Well, I'm just upset that we don't have a TV show because they're making the Sandlot TV show.
Oh,
but that's because
we can make that happen.
Yeah, and I think they're doing the Mighty Ducks TV show as well.
Americana.
We're getting all the original people back. I'm like, hey, if they get one, we could get one.
And Cobra Kai from the Karate Kid as well.
Obsessed with Cobra Kai. Obsessed with Cobra Kai. Obsessed. Absolutely obsessed.
So when we were talking to Marcus, we were talking about whether there are ever rumors and talks of there being a sequel to Little Giants, to which he said there was at certain points, but we were saying potentially, and we know that it didn't quite make its budget back, the movie, but Dom and I have a plan.
Oh boy.
We have a plan to fix it.
We told Marcus this as well.
So we're thinking, Dom and I, we're going to do a GoFundMe, right? We need to get about $250,000, but we're going to do it, okay? We're going to sell T-shirts with, logos on. And then we're going to give all of the money to Warner Brothers, and then they'll greenlight the sequel, right, Dom?
Absolutely. Warner Brothers made a slight loss on that movie. Forget the whole Harry Potter franchise and the billions that they've made from that. They're going to need money, just that little bit extra, to make Little Giants 2.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Justice League bombed so hard, they're out of money.
Yeah, man.
This is the time for it.
Green right now. I don't even think people know how to make movies again for quite some time. Like, yeah.
Did you take props? Like, were you given so you said you got the jersey? Did you get?
Yeah, we kept all the jerseys. Like I got the helmet.
I asked for everything. I got the pads and the cheerleader.
Yeah. We got all that, and remember the football that we got from all the players.
Yeah, I got that.
We all got signed footballs from Emmitt Smith and Tim Brown and Bruce Smith and John Madden and all that.
That's what my parents.
So we still got those.
Very cool.
Yeah.
we could take those on Pawn Stars.
Hey,
yeah.
There's a market for that stuff. There really is. They'd go for a lot of money, but hopefully not. You don't have to do a Nicolas Cage estate sale just yet.
That was so much fun.
Well, another question we always ask is about how many times you've watched The Little Giants. Because we've had some people that have been in movies where they say they'll watch it once so they can't watch it again, and other people that have watched it loads of times. Like, roughly how many times would you say you've watched the movie in your lifetime?
Well, generally I'm one of those guys who I can't watch myself. I don't like it, but I have seen it a bunch. It's weird. Like, obviously I saw it a lot when it first came out. I was probably the only one who saw it in the theaters. But there was a time where I couldn't, my folks were always like, if they happened to be, flipping around on TV and they saw it, like, oh, hey, Little Giants is on, they would, stop and watch it, and I would be like, nope, I'm going to the other room. I don't want to watch it. But it took me a while to finally, like, it took me several years to finally sit down and watch it again, and with kind of with a open mind, I guess, so to say, like, and when I did, I was like, you know what, this actually is a pretty good movie. Like, for, yes, 90s sports movies were kind of a dime a dozen back then, but it was one of the better ones. Like even,
different.
like, I remember seeing, what was it, I think it's called Kicking and Screaming, the Will Ferrell, like, and I was like, oh, this movie's terrible. Like, but even, like, filmmaking standpoint, like, it just seemed shoddy. I mean, Little Giants, look good. Like, Janusz Kaminski was the cinematographer. It was a very, top shelf production, I guess I would say. So it took me a while to finally watch it again. I'm like, yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Was the last time you watched it when we went up to San Luis Obispo?
I think it was, yeah.
That movie theater.
Yeah.
There was a movie theater that had like a little reunion thing that.
Yeah, we shot part of it in San Luis Obispo, so they had like a little film festival reunion thing.
Yeah.
So when we spoke to Marcus about it, Marcus said that he'd watched it quite a lot of times, but mostly because other people make him watch it.
Yeah.
Is that what happens to yourselves?
Yeah, definitely. The weirdest thing is, like, the amount of, like, other friends who I have who have still never seen it. Like, I like, one of my best friends has never seen it, and he's like, you know what? I don't plan on it. He's like, I feel like at this point, it's like, I'm just going to make it my goal never to watch it.
How many times, Shawna, would you say you've seen it?
Oh God, probably the same, dozens over. It's been a long time, but the last time was with Todd. That was what, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'd say I've probably seen it 25 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things you have to watch when you're younger to have like such a spot in your heart. Because for a while there wasn't a lot of kids content. Like, I think, like, Little Giants and a couple of those movies, they were a reason why there wasn't a lot of kids content for so long, because people for some reason didn't think that, like, on a mainstream it would make money.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like, people wised up to that. And then also there's so many platforms to watch things nowadays. You don't just have like a VHS anymore.
Right.
There's a million different outlets to have programs on, so it's not like just the same 20 kids movies that people are recycling for the last, like, 2 decades. Like, now there's there's new content. So I don't know, it's, for a while it was just like, that's all that seemed to be, was like Mighty Ducks, Sandlot, Little Giants, and, like, Disney shows. Then Disney shows got really popular. I don't know, it's so weird. Like, it's just,
yeah. I mean, they don't really make them anymore. They don't make them like they used to, but they really don't. It's,
like, that had a lot of production value, man. Like, that took forever to make. Like,
and that's really it. Like,
they put a lot of, it's 5 months for filming, but just how many months was there of casting? And
I feel like it was 6 months at least for casting.
So long. Like, I literally went from being 10 to 12 years old. Like, it's like, all of a sudden, it was crazy. So anyway, like, it just doesn't happen like that anymore. And I think that, like, I don't know, what a crazy experience. But yeah. Anyway, I don't blame Rick for any of the stuff that was going on. Like, I can't even imagine doing a movie and being away from your children in that situation. So anyway, it was a whirlwind, and yet it lasted forever.
Yes.
Well, apparently the rumor is that Rick Moranis might be starting to come back into roles, apparently.
Look, I remember somebody asking at the press thing, like, what's next for you? And he made, like, some sort of joke, basically saying, like, well, the same role that I always play. Like, what else do you expect from me? And I think that's where his head was at, was like, I'm just doing the same thing. I'd rather be with my children. And I don't know, like, I respect him so much for that. So if he wants to come back, I think now he could actually do whatever the heck he wanted. He's not stereotyped. Like, wouldn't you love to see him play like a badass in some role? Like, that'd be amazing. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah. I would actually love to see him in a dramatic part. I think he would be fantastic. Like, I don't know. I wish him well. Like, that must have been, what a difficult thing. Because there was actually 2 directors on that movie. Brian Levant came in at the end. He was the director of the Flintstones movie. Dwayne went into editing because they had to wrap. The movie was like coming out in October, and we were still like filming in August or something. Like, it was, or June. It was nuts. So he had to edit while we were still filming, and they brought in Brian to just wrap up and do some of the harder stuff, the action stuff. And I remember Brian Levant saying that, like, Rick was like 2 different people. You know, he was a lot lighter, and he was just different on the Flintstones than he was on Little Giants. And I even think he was maybe the one who told everybody what had happened. I don't even think people knew what had happened while we were filming. Like, we were like, oh, he's just an aloof guy, I guess. And then later on, we were like, oh, shit. You know, that makes sense. So, you know, I'll never forget Brian saying he's just like 2 different people. And I would be too. I mean, like, if I lost my husband, I can't even imagine. So anyway, the fact that he even was, I don't know. I can see why he quit. And how many actors do that? How many actors have the balls to say, you know what, I'm good. Yeah. I've had a good career. My children are more important. I mean, how many actors say my children are more important? Right. Not a lot. So anyway, I don't know. Like,
very commendable, because I'm sure he was in like the peak, so he would have been getting offered a lot of big checks, a lot of money. So I think, if anything, it makes you like him even more, because it's like, well, he's just a really nice guy, and he looks after his family. So completely. So, like,
I was actually almost going to be in Big Bully, which was his last movie that he made, because I think I auditioned for that. Well, actually, the kid who played the young Rick Moranis in Little Giants was the one who ended up playing.
Oh yeah.
His son. Yeah, I think it was his son in that movie. And I think I auditioned for a couple different parts, and I almost got it, but then I didn't. But and then it's when he stopped. But.
And now I feel like he'd have the pick of the litter, so good for him.
Yes.
You know, he could literally do whatever he wanted right now. So
absolutely.
That's. You know.
I think wasn't it mentioned that he was going to be in the next Ghostbusters film? Because with the
no, I think they said he's going to do the next the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
They're doing another one.
I think Joe Johnston's directing it as well, and I think Josh Gad is playing his son.
Nice.
I love
imagine the special effects they're going to have in that movie.
Oh, yeah. I hope they do the old school ones though.
Actual size difference.
Yeah.
What would you guys say your favorite memory was from the filming of Little Giants?
Man, there's a lot of them.
Wow.
Or just a couple highlights.
I think when we went up to San Luis Obispo, we all were basically we're all in the same hotel room together, and it was just kind of like camp with everybody.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
I'll never forget all of us huddled in a room watching O.J. Simpson running his Bronco, and we were like, "What's going on?" Yep. Remember that? We were all together doing that. That was a good.
Yeah.
It's not an on-set memory, but all the offset stuff was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, shooting it was hard. We were shooting, we were in pads in 95-degree heat in the middle of summer.
100-degree heat. I got heat stroke. Do you remember when I passed out?
I did
and then
too.
after that, all of a sudden it was, they had to bring a medic to wake me up with smelling salts. That I was.
Really?
Yeah, because originally they left me with a wool sweater with pads and another shirt in like 103-degree weather underneath hot lights. Right. No water, no nothing. I'll never forget just like feeling dizzy and then seeing the grass come up to my face. I didn't feel falling. I didn't feel falling. And then I woke up to the medic, and then after that it was misters for the kids, people walking around with water bottles, shade. All of a sudden we got shade and chairs. It wasn't just Rick and Ed. Everybody got shade and chairs. I
think I contributed to that as well because
towels in them for everybody. But that only happened after I got heat stroke.
Yeah, you must have got heat stroke, and I like hyperventilated.
Yeah,
I remember that, and because I remember they moved me. They had a refrigerated room.
Yeah,
I remember they moved me into that there for like 5 minutes just so I could cool down, and then after that they're like, yeah, maybe we should look after
take
these
kids a little bit. Shit, God.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there that there's a lot of people out there now that owe you a lot of thanks because the rights that kids get on film sets and stuff now are probably very, very different to what you had at the time. So your suffering has allowed others to have a better film career.
And they were pretty good with stuff. I mean, they were really strict. You could only work a certain amount of numbers. They're strict with school. Like everything was really strict. Just everybody overlooked this one very crucial thing.
Water.
Shade and water in 100-degree weather. Like everybody was just, by that point, Jesus, that was towards the end. They were just trying to wrap it up, God. And there were at that for every kid, we had like 3 stunt doubles. So they had high schools from all around. So they had we each had like 3 stunt doubles. So you can imagine like 4 sets of like teams, just like there was just so many people. Like there were so many, it was huge. There were so many people. It was massive. God, I remember that one stunt.
My stunt double was a girl.
Oh, really? Yours? Mine was a boy, and they would tease him. Actually, they teased him until I kind of beat up the one kid who was teasing him, and I was like, "If you're teasing him, you're teasing me," type thing. Like he's doing his job. I'll never forget. He was leaning back eating cereal, and I took the back of his chair and like pushed it down, and so like he fell backwards, and it's just like, don't make fun of him anymore.
Very IceBox. That's very IceBox like.
It was. I mean, it wasn't difficult to be that character. It still is me. It's like, I have a difficult. Sometimes I look at my husband. I'm like, because you're here, that person is not getting a talking to. Because I don't want to embarrass you. But if you weren't here, honey, I'd be coming home with a story. Anyway.
Shawna, can I ask you, this is important question, and Dom
I know what he's going to ask, because I've been burning to ask it as well.
You ask it, Dom.
Well, I don't mind.
Go on.
So, directorial decisions are very, very important. Very important. So if someone makes a mistake, they go, right, let's stop there. Let's go back and do it again. Now, when one of your scenes, when it's you and Rick, you are having quite a heated little argument about your mother who ran away, and then you run up the stairs, and as you're running up the stairs you fall, and one thing that we've been burning to ask is, did you mean to fall or did you trip and they kept it in?
Well, here's the thing, that first off, that day blew, because after Rick did his lines, he left, and they did his close-ups first, and the woman who was our supposed to do our dialogue with was like, you gotta give him your all every time for him. You gotta give him your all. She was crazy. She'd get like right up in your face. I probably shouldn't say that. Oh, is this
Dawn?
Yeah, Dawn. She'd get like right there, right up in your face. And you're just like, whoa, lady. And so, I was just like crying and give it to him all. So by the time he left, I was just spent. I was so done, after like 80 takes of Rick. And then they turned around, he leaves, and I'm doing my scenes with crazy Dawn, who's just like, it's so hard to look at. Just seriously, while you're doing lines. And I was so tired, and they had switched everything around, and they had left, I don't know if you guys know, when they put lights down, they have these like heavy sandbags, and sometimes the sandbags are like ball bearing bags, you know, like these little, they're like ball bearings instead of sandbags. And they had like one of those little ones that they left on the stairs. And I bit it pretty hard because I tripped over the sandbag that they had left on the stairs. And of all the takes that they did, they left that one in. And that's actually one of the reasons why I love Dwayne and I love his editings, because he'll find, I must have been like so exhausted by that point. I mean, I had said those words so many times. I don't know, I was just so tired. Like he found the one take that had like a little something extra to it, you know, because I mean, like, I still watch that and I cringe. I'm like, that was so much better than that. It's like, I was so tired. I was so tired at that point. I just wanted to stop saying my little fullback. I will never forget that line. I will never.
Well,
sorry. It's just like so many times I said that. And so, yeah, I bit it pretty hard on by accident on the this little sandbag that they had left on the stairs. And I'll never forget that too. I'll never forget watching that in New York.
I will say it was quite a challenge getting the snot bubble correct.
Oh, yeah. We need to come on to the snot bubble. That's a whole different chapter. Hang on, Todd. But wait, Shawna, just to say that when Dom and I and Marcus were talking about it, we said that we actually felt that we weren't sure whether it was intentional or not, because it actually lended a little bit more reality.
No, not intentional. I was just so tired. I've been running up those stairs. Think about it. That was probably like the 80th take on top of Rick's take. So like I've been running up those stairs over 100 times that day. I was so tired. And when I slipped on that ball bearing, I remember like I didn't even have like really any energy to catch myself. I think I bit it face first. There were a couple of accidents. There was a couple of times where I walked in. They had I was going to the bathroom once. They had the big crane, and they had the crane lowered, and they didn't have any red tape around it, and so I just walked forehead first right into the end of the crane. I just remember like talking with somebody, and then like turning this way, just boom. Like,
I think it kind of added to the scene, because even though it was an accident, it's like when you're a kid and you have these big moments to your parents and you like storm out a room and you think you're being like, you know, Al Pacino in Scarface, and then you slam, you know, walk into the door frame or something, because in reality you're 10 and you're having a tantrum. Like, it, I'm not saying that that's what your character was doing, but it kind of made it a bit more.
I agree. I'm sure that's why Dwayne picked it. Like I'm sure like he's really good at finding, like I said, the director edited the movie, because naturally he's already an editor. So he was.
We had like a dozen editors.
Figuring out how he was going to put together.
No, really. I think I told you this. My brother went to AFI Film School.
Oh,
and,
no. Yeah,
his mentor for his thesis film was Don Cameron, who was the main credited editor of Little Giants. And I remember, you know, he says, "Oh, my brother was in that movie." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I edited that movie. I think he said we had 7 editing rooms going on at once." Like, wow. Yeah, because they needed it to get.
They had a deadline. It was like literally just a couple of months away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna be McDonald's toys, and that didn't happen. That was a bummer. I still
have my
collection of McDonald's toys from when I was a kid. I was like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we were supposed to be McDonald's toys, but we weren't going to make like they didn't hit the deadline, basically.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, that's a bummer.
The snot bubble. I guess they really wanted to get this scene in because of how difficult it was to get, because they tried a bunch of different things. Like at first, they literally tried to they had like a little round thing with some, you know, latex, and they just stuck it in my nose, and just to see if I breathed naturally, would it work? That didn't work. It just, you know, the whole thing just flew out of my nose like a booger. Then they tried doing like shooting it in profile, where they had like a tube taped to the side of my face, and where they would just squeeze, but it looked like I was chewing bubble gum. So that didn't work. So eventually they just decided to they use latex, more specifically latex condoms, to literally, they just cut part of a condom out, tied it, made it into a bubble, glued it on my nose, and then just used that as a reference, and then they just CGI'd the bubble, inflating and deflating. And then obviously then they had it solid, so then they literally, if you noticed in the scene when it's popped, I flinch. It's because literally they had the kid, they put like a little needle on the kid's finger to pop it, and it would pop. It was like a loud pop, and like they did it a million times. They couldn't get me to not flinch. So that was just So I'm just flinched at this bubble being popped on my nose.
Yeah, because you had a condom on your face, man.
Yeah. Do you remember? Were you there, Shawna, for the scene? They cut it out, but they. I remember Janusz, the cinematographer. The whole rest of the shoot, we would constantly like give me shit about it, because it was a scene where it was one of the training montages, and Danny Pritchett was climbing a rope at the end of the scene, and he stops midway up the rope, and the gag was, you know what I'm saying here. The gag was the rope was causing friction, and and causing the kid to get a boner. And my line was, "Think about your grandmother, Tad." And they ended up cutting the scene out for obvious reasons. But the whole rest of the shoot, Janusz would come up to me anytime we see him and goes, "Think about your grandmother, Tad." Like every day.
He loved that.
He loved that line for some reason.
He was great.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, here's like an award-winning,
Oscar-winning cinematographer, slumming it on,
who really gave a shit. He really cared. Like he was so. Oh man, he was. So
he had a
nice.
temper. Like he was not.
Yeah, he did have a temper. I remember once Rick kept getting in my light, and he was like, "Rick, get the fuck out of her light! What is your mat? Don't you know her light?" And I was like, "Oh shit, this God!" Yep. Like nobody talks to Rick like that except Janusz Kaminski.
He was super nice. Like my mom, like everyone knows. Everyone's mom, was just kind of, in the trailers or just hanging out off somewhere. My mom was like really interested. So like my mom, like was almost anytime I was like on a scene, she was right there by the monitors. Yeah. And so I remember my mom said like one time, like she was next to the monitors and Janusz would be like, "You want to sit down?" Yes. and she was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Mom, you didn't." He's like, "Yeah." Yes, he offered for me to sit in this chair. I was like, that was nice.
Yeah, no, I ran into him a couple times even after the movie.
Yeah.
He's always so nice. Took time to, talk with me. I mean, guys like that really don't need to be, but. Yeah.
I did. When I first moved here, I did a commercial. Mitch Dubin, who was the camera operator on Little Giants, was there, and I was talking to him like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "I remember I would always call that the Braveheart of kids films."
Yeah,
how hard the shoot was.
It was the kid. It was.
Yep.
Just that's a funny way to put it. Jesus.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Little Giants now? Like even talking about it now, it seems like you both reminisce on it fondly. I mean, do you mind when people bring it up? Was it annoying at any point, like when you were a teenager, maybe if people were talking to you about it? I mean, how do you feel?
Oh yeah, people are always assholes, but there's always nice people for the pricks. Yeah. What are you gonna do? It's like it's like you just weeds out the people you actually can tolerate talking to, and people who have issues.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, it's like, it's a kids movie at the end of the day. So if like people have like, I don't know, it's like, it's fun. It's a fun thing. So
yeah.
You must have had people that would probably been jealous along the way, like when you're in high school and things, that, you know, you're getting a lot of attention, or that, you know, you're famous basically. I mean, did you ever encounter any of that, like when you were younger perhaps?
Oh yeah, a lot of people I've never met who are like, well, she's like this. I'm like, oh, well, I've never met them, but okay, sure, whatever gets them through the day, you know, like if you gotta, you know, a lot of guys I've dated, that I've never met, you know, that you hear from other people. Oh, I heard that this guy said he dated you. Well, all right, you know, no, but whatever.
Have I ever told you that like a friend of mine texted me like a couple of years ago and was like, yeah, I was at this bar and this girl comes up to me and we start talking, and randomly out of nowhere she says that she played IceBox and Little Giants, not knowing that I literally know you.
Yeah, that's not me. I would never do that.
I know. And he just started laughing. It's like, yeah, so you're Shawna? Your name's Shawna? It's like, no, but I was just, it's like, you're full of shit.
I love that. See, that's so weird. That's so weird. But to me, it's like, whatever floats your boat, man. Like, that must have worked for her at some point in time in the past.
Yes.
Why?
Yep.
Oh man, it's so weird.
Yep.
We just saw this guy. I don't know. There's this bar that we used to go to that probably won't go back there for quite some time. But this guy recognized us, and he was like a hardcore fan, and I just felt like he was like going to perform, and he's like, please come back and watch us. And it was like, his girlfriend was like 10 years younger than him and could not possibly understand what the hell was going on, you know? And I was like, oh, this is going to be so awkward, but if we just leave, yeah, because we were next door having food, I'm like, if we just leave, then I feel like guilty, you know? Like, this means like so much to this guy. Like, so we stayed and we watched, and he was good. He was a good musician, and it was fine. But then like Todd was great. He fielded this guy for the rest of the night, while like this guy's girlfriend would not stop talking to me. I was just like, oh my God. I was like counting down the minutes till I get the hell out of there. And I even told him before I left, I don't know how vulgar I can get on here. I didn't ask you guys.
So whatever you like, whatever you want.
Okay. I was like next to him. I was like, this is pussy number one. I was like, you want to have sex with this again? You treat pussy number one with some respect right now, dude. Like, you're really ignoring her. Like, anyway, I was just like, Jesus, guy. But he was drunk and like a super fan, and like I feel like responsible for, I don't know, like I don't want to be an asshole to people like that, because I appreciate the fact that somebody even cares about that movie, because I get it, you know, like I get it, and that means a lot to me. So, you know, he had a good night, but I definitely was like, okay, we need to get out of here, otherwise she's breaking up with you like in the next 5 minutes, because you gotta stop ignoring your 26-year-old girlfriend, man. She's freaking out. Oh God, that was such an awkward night. What a great bar too. I want to go back, but it got so weird so quick.
These films really impact people's childhoods. I mean, when Little Giants came out, Dom and I were 7, so it's like these are the films you grow up watching, and like you said earlier, and now like VHS video tape, watching it so much, you're like wearing the tape out. And I think also these films, like particularly Little Giants and Mighty Ducks, are like movies about kids that aren't particularly good at sport, and the kids that sort of get picked last, and sort of showing that anyone can play sport and anyone can be involved and anyone can sort of, you know, win, etc. So it's got that great undertone to it. And then like what we were saying at the top of the podcast, the fact that it's got a female protagonist that's playing in, you know, what, like a male dominant sport. It's just got a great theme to it. So I think because of all of that, it just has great staying power and is very impactful. So it doesn't surprise me that people are so passionate about it. They shouldn't be creepy about it, you know, in bars. But
No, it was like creepy and endearing when you're just like, you know, to the point where you're like, dude, like, I'm just trying to save your relationship, man. Like, thank you. I really appreciate the heartfelt, you know, because I feel I have that way about I feel that way about other movies. Like, I get, like, I get that. And also I Little Giants is rare where there aren't a lot of, you know, female leads that aren't just like the side character that the lead guy has a crush on, or who also happens to be a little good, who's just kind of like, you know,
Right.
who chooses the sport over the guy, you know, like how many how many movies do that at the end, you know? It has a very special place in my heart. So when people, I don't know, when it affects
I will say, Sean is a very good sport. If we're ever out together and somebody, oftentimes I'll get recognized and not her, and they'll say like, hey, and she'll like,
I love it. Take a picture. And I'm like, sure, you got it.
I'll volunteer to take a picture.
Because
like,
nobody would ever in a million years think that, like, not only us, but when you and I and Marcus went out, like, you know, because Todd gets recognized everywhere he goes. Like, Todd always, it's always, you know, like, people, look at Todd shaking his head. He's like, you know.
you have a memorable time. Good way.
So, it's hard for us to find like a hole in the wall where somebody won't recognize Todd when we walk through the front door.
I was recognized in a planetarium once. No, literally, it was pitch dark in a planetarium. I was like, "Are you Little Giants?" I'm like, "How do you find me?"
Where's the weirdest place you were ever recognized, Todd?
That was pretty fucking weird. It was, I don't know.
Right.
Oh, okay. The weirdest, I don't know if you were there or not. I think at one time I was at like Six Flags in an amusement park, and yeah. Oh, yeah. I was with Marcus.
Yeah.
And it was the weirdest thing ever because, you know, guys, Dom and your age, your age group, they would come up to me and like, oh, I loved you in Little Giants. Marcus, I don't know if you guys know, he was on this show Movie Surfers on the Disney Channel when he was a kid as well. And so I would get guys your age coming up to me, and then Marcus would get 12, 13-year-old girls coming up to him like, oh, you were a movie surfer. And Marcus is like, yeah. So it's like you get preteen girls and then just dudes my age coming up to me. It's like, oh, well, it's one of these days we'll get
those girls coming
females of our own age. But it was
top of Notre Dame, top of Notre Dame.
Really? Notre Dame Cathedral?
Yeah. I was up at
pre-fire
cathedral, and it was for the American president. Somebody was like, compliment her shoes, and I was like by myself, and I was like, what? It was this American couple, and they were like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. that was the weirdest, just the most random, because you're up there and it's so majestic, and you're
okay,
like, this is.
Here's the weirdest encounter of someone recognizing me. I think I told Shawna about this. This was probably 10 years ago. I was with Marcus and a couple other friends in Hollywood. We were at this famous bar called Barney's Beanery.
Oh yeah,
and we would do Shawna knows. It was a karaoke bar. We would do karaoke and. It was fun. We were leaving for the night, and they had ballet, and so we were waiting for our car, and this big dude, like obviously shit-faced, comes staggering over to me, and like stuffs his hand in my hand and goes, "Hey, you don't know me, but my name is John DiMaggio. I play Bender on Futurama.
Oh,
I just want to let you know I'm a huge fan of your work."
Wow.
That was by far the weirdest.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, I'm a fan of yours as well.
I'll tell you a quick John story.
Yeah, and I was I was a performer at Second City improv group out here, and a bunch of my friends I knew him, and so I was like, oh, I know Hal Lublin, and he's like, oh, you go tell Hal Lublin to go fuck himself. like, oh, okay, all right. He's like, yeah, and he just falls into this SUV and they drive off. Like, he was shit-faced.
He basically is Bender.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool. We're Facebook friends now too, though.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, but all my friends were like, "What the hell just happened?" Like,
can you guys give us? This is slightly off topic, but what are some of your favorite '90s movies? Like classic '90s movies to you guys? Any genre?
Okay. Well, obviously, Jurassic Park is probably, number one.
God, what an era!
I know.
I mean, like you got a lot of movies.
I know. It's not quite 90s though. Like, I mean, I was obsessed obviously with, like, you know, the Tim Burton Batman. Like, I was obsessed with that. Gremlins, I know it's another kind of 80s movie. Like, I was for 90s. I used to be obsessed with the movie Speed.
Oh, Speed.
Nice.
Speed is classic. My wife and I watched that.
I think we saw that movie while we were shooting Little Giants, weren't we? Or did that come out? When did that? I mean, maybe it was during Jack, actually, because I think it came out after that. But
Dom, for some reason, Keanu Reeves in Speed always reminds me of your brother. Just want to throw that in there.
What? Just plays one character in every film.
just a badass, man. But
plain.
That's a compliment. It's a compliment.
I just rewatched The Matrix the other day, and like that's just the best movie. But I mean, that's 99.
And the sequels are so bad, though.
I know, but you just take the first one.
I know.
That's why we stick to the 90s here. We don't bother with...
Exactly. Damn straight.
Stick to the 90s. The good ones in the 90s. Forget the rest.
Absolutely.
What about, like, Pulp Fiction? Is that...
yeah.
That's what I said. Like, Pulp Fiction. Like, I just said, you guys were talking. I mean, I used to have... Jesus. When was Reservoir Dogs?
It's
91, 92? I think it was 92. Yeah. Well,
I used to say Reservoir Dogs. Oh, well, God... That's a rough one.
This is going to sound blasphemous, but I think my favorite of the trilogy is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, I love that movie. I was obsessed with that movie.
Unfortunately, Todd, that actually is blasphemy on this podcast.
Yeah, I was like,
wait. I'm not going to have that. I'm not taking that from you, because Simon on every podcast mentions Die Hard. Die Hard wasn't a 90s film. It's an 80s film.
You're right.
So we're not allowed to cover it. So Die Hard with a Vengeance is absolutely fine.
Exactly.
And you don't.
It was an 80s film.
Yep.
I don't know. God, that's hard. I mean, Fight Club.
We covered Fight Club. If you want to have a listen to our podcast and us being prats, then give that a go.
Amazing. I used to know like all the monologues for that. I used to know all the monologues for Pulp Fiction. Everybody has a soundtrack from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth whether or not I want to do a one-man show version of The Fugitive.
Oh, do it.
Can you do it on the podcast for us? That would be.
I can give you a little taste. No, it's weird. For some reason, I can do pretty decent impressions of most of the characters in that movie. It's like I mean, I was just the I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. And then you got like the bad guy with the weird accent, like, oh, Richard. He's like, the best you can give the world, Provasic. Like, this is these random like key words that I don't know. I just always
Excellent. I loved it. I'm going to tag that in the podcast.
Oh, God.
Todd Bosley, one man show.
Oh,
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. Just watch out.
Can we play a quick game? Okay.
Sure.
Men in Black was the 90s first.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? I still think about movies.
Right, quick game. Yeah, still on movies. Okay, I'll read out the movie. These are episodes we've done on the podcast so far. Okay, shameless promo. But all right, so I'll say the movie, the 90s movie, and then you just have to say when you'd rate it out of 10.
Okay.
Simple as that. Hopefully you've seen them all. You might not have. The first one we ever did was Smart House, Disney Channel original. Have you ever seen this movie?
I have not.
Dude, is that with oh my god, what's her name? Peggy Bundy.
Kate Siegel, yeah.
Thank you. Casey, I was like, I worked with her too. As a teenager, I was more of like a, Usual Suspects, 7.
Big Lebowski. That's another one.
Silence of the Lambs. Big Lebowski, even though I didn't really understand it. I think I was half-baked, saw that with my parents, even though I'd never smoked.
I saw Big Lebowski with my parents, and we were all laughing our asses off.
Okay, what about Saving Private Ryan? What would you give that out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, Celtic Pride. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
What would you give that, Shawna?
Let's give it an 8.
An 8?
Yes.
Wow. Like Simon would give it a 9 or 10. For anyone else to give it anything above a 5 is amazing.
You're probably the only person that will want to listen to that podcast episode, so enjoy.
I probably would, yeah. Some things have a soft spot in your heart, it just depends.
Fair enough.
They do. Fight Club.
Oh. 20.
Really?
I mean, dude, I have it on, Fight Club. What about you? You don't think at least 10?
I'd give it about 8 or 9 out of 10.
Dom?
Reasonable. 8.
Nice. The Mighty Ducks, the first one.
Oh, it was 8.5.
Ooh. Shawna, are they the enemy?
8.5. We'll go 8.5. No, I'll have to do a 9. I know.
Dom?
Are they 8? Well, again.
Okay. Toy Story, 95.
Oh.
Whoa. 10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
Ready for this? Con Air.
Oh. 100. I just 100. Come on, you got Steve Buscemi. Oh my God, John Malkovich.
I think Con Air is a movie that I appreciate more now than when I first saw it.
Defy logic. Him being a muscly guy.
It's like a fine wine. It's aged well.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 9. No.
Yeah, I'll 10, man.
10.
I'd watch it anytime it comes on TV. I'd watch that. That and The Rock.
I give it 9, because The Rock is a 10 for me. The Rock is still, I think, in my opinion, one of only 2 good Michael Bay movies.
9.5 for Con Air, 10 for The Rock.
Yep.
All right.
Dom?
I absolutely agree with The Rock being a 10. Great film. Con Air's probably going to get a 7 from me.
I just went to Alcatraz. I went to San Francisco right before they shut it down, and it was just, while I'm there the whole time, I'm just like, this is where they snuck up. It's so much fun. Like, that's the best movie ever. Yeah.
GoldenEye?
Huh?
GoldenEye?
GoldenEye? Oh, dude, 10. I mean, the game. N64.
Oh yeah, the game I think is better than the movie, in my opinion.
Absolutely. But the movie also has like a soft spot in my heart because, I mean, come on, like.
I'll give the movie 7.5.
Famke Janssen's so hot. Like,
What's funny is Dom does a really good version of the Tina Turner soundtrack.
No.
Dom?
That's awesome.
If anything, Simon sings pretty much in every podcast we do, and it was him that sings GoldenEye. So go on, Simon, go for it. If not, I will find the podcast and I will send it to both of them so they can hear you singing.
It's on. Okay, this is a big one. This is a big movie from 1994. Classic, Little Giants.
Oh, well. Firm 10
6.
there. 6, I love you, Todd. I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for it.
No. 10.
10.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
Making it was a 10.
Yes.
You're in safe hands, Pierce. 10s all round. Cool Runnings.
Oh, yeah, 10, dude. Come on.
I
Do you not remember Cool Runnings, Todd?
No, I remember. I'll give it about 8.5. But I'm going to say, I met one of the guys in that movie. I don't remember which one, because I met him at an audition. He was actually running the audition. It was like for a commercial.
It's so hard for me not to make a pun there.
I know. I don't remember which one it was though. But no, it's a good movie.
Was he short?
Yes.
It might have been Raw D. Lewis. That's who we had on our podcast.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
We've had him on.
We had
Friend
him
of the show.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And then finally, Sister Act.
Oh, man, 10 for me.
10.
I love Sister Act. That was great.
I like the second one too.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
And then,
first off, I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so like Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg, like like right off the bat, it's like
for the whole of our Sister Act podcast, I talked about the fact that she's Guinan, the whole like almost talked about Star Trek more than Sister Act, which Simon didn't like very much.
Did you see Patrick Stewart talk to her on her show about being on Picard in the next season?
No, we don't get her show over here. Well, I'm going to have to YouTube it or something.
Yeah, he asked her to be on Picard in the next season, and she said yes. And I was just like in tears. I'm so excited.
That is very exciting news.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Oh, what a great first season. Sorry.
Wow.
I love missing Star Trek.
Excellent.
We just did Face Off. Did you guys like Face Off?
Oh, love Face Off.
Yeah.
That's a 10. That's a 10 for sure.
Absolutely 10. Oh, hey, Katie. I'll do it with my husband all the time. We'll face off to each other.
Actually, Face Off. One of the guys who I was in Jack with, his little brother was the kid in the beginning that dies.
I thought you were about to say he was the kid at the end, which Dominic hates.
I'm Adam. Rubbish kid.
Yes, cutie.
That's so funny. So basically, you're saying all of those podcast episodes are episodes that you would listen to and you would recommend other people to listen to.
I see what you're doing here.
Right, Todd? Shawna? Yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing. Wait, what are your final thoughts like on Little Giants? Is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion about it? Like how you feel about it now from a 2020 perspective, or
I mean, honestly, I think it's very emblematic of a simpler time, for lack of a better word. Like, I mean, they really don't make movies like that anymore, and I think it's kind of a shame. Like I even remember, even if Sean, the cartoon they have at the beginning of the movie, One Foggy Evening, like even that, like it's in no way associated with the movie, but like even like something like that, like they don't make cartoons like that anymore. It's just like, I don't know. It just, I don't know. It's a shame. Like I wish, something like those kind of movies would make a comeback.
You're talking about the Looney Tunes one that showed before the movie? Yeah. I forgot that even happened. I forgot that it was even a thing until you just said it right now. I don't know. For me, it's like, I love hearing stories it's one of the few movies where I guess it kind of tells girls it's okay to, be yourself. You don't have to be something for other people. It doesn't really happen a lot. And I was so used to people telling me when I was younger, it's just a kid's movie. That's how I viewed it for so long as a teenager. And it wasn't until I was older and heard a lot of stories that I realized what kind of an impact that movie has. And I don't know, it's that means a lot to me. So I don't know. I think it's a big deal. So I've heard some stuff. I've told this one girl who's like, people called her IceBox, and I told her, I'm like, you're better than I am. You're already the real thing. I was an actor in a movie. Like, yeah, I'm tomboyish, but like, you have an actual skill, like,
we didn't actually play football.
To like a movie star, like you're better in real life. So, but I've heard a lot of stories. It means a lot to me. So.
That's really nice, and it was a film that meant a lot to me as a child, and to many other people, I'm sure. So the second thing I was going to say is just to say thank you so much to both of you for giving up your time. And
that's fine. I haven't seen Todd in forever, so this is nice. Yeah. But you're lazy and you won't get your PS4 up, which blows my mind. What's a Fortnite, dude? What? Come on.
I gotta unwrap the TV. It's still all wrapped up in bubble wrap.
Todd.
Well, Todd, at some point we need to talk to you about Treehouse Hostage if you're down for the journey, my friend.
I will. I will say right now, it's probably going to be a shorter episode.
And then Shawna, if you ever want to come on to talk about any other movies, like movies that either of you love that you just want to, we'd love to have, co-hosts to just go through movies,
That'd be really fun.
I think there'd be a lot of people would want to hear your perspectives, on other movies. Like, we'd love to know what you guys thought about, The Mighty Ducks, for example, or, Speed or The Matrix or whatever. But yeah, we're both so grateful for you guys, for your time, for coming on.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And we're both super shy, so but you can tell that you guys are awesome. So I was like, this will be a good time.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to talk to both of you and hear a bit more insight into the film and kind of what you guys are up to now in your lives and stuff like that. And hope you both stay safe as well in this crazy time. But yeah, really lovely to talk to you.
Where can you guys support you or keep up to date with you, or if you have anything, websites, social media, any of that stuff?
You go first, Todd.
I have a Twitter and a Instagram I'm never on. But
he also plays the voice of Chungus. I don't know if you guys don't have AM/PM over there, do you? You have AM/PM over there? Yeah, they're like, what the hell's an AM/PM?
Sorry.
No.
An AM/PM. Anyway, it's this awesome character. Todd has an amazing voice. I don't know if you've noticed. So he does a lot of voiceover work, and it's always, I see him everywhere with the voiceover work that he does. He's being very modest about it right now, but it's awesome.
Shut up.
You shut your face.
Have you guys been on podcasts before?
No, I'm like, have I? I
don't think so. Maybe one other. Not really.
But it wasn't as good as this. Is that what you?
No, never.
Oh yeah, this is by far. Yes,
I mean, would you recommend to listen to, rate, review, and subscribe 5 stars on iTunes?
Yeah.
Why stop at 5?
Yeah.
What about 8.5?
Yeah.
Nice.
What's the minimalistic thing here?
It's Con Air rating, 8.5.
Well, amazing. Well, we will definitely be throwing you invites all of the time now to podcasts. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. Yeah, please stay safe, and thank you very much.
Oh, look, my husband, really quick. I did a movie with my husband, which was great last year. It's called Teacher. I don't know if you guys saw Ant-Man or know who David Dastmalchian is. He's like an incredible actor. He's coming out in Dune. It's starring him. He's fantastic. But everyone's sitting on their butts. I highly recommend Teacher. It's
I agree.
3 years of our lives. It was
cool. Well, if there's ever anything that we can promote or do to help, then yeah, please let us know. That's awesome.
This was really fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Fun, guys.
Thank you. Well, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Show me the honey.
Steamboat Willie. Don't want to raise your kids. I don't even like kids.
His name is Robert Paulson.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never was.
I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
I'm gonna show you God does exist.
I am invincible! Go, baby, go! Once again!
I see pride.
Junior!
I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off from nobody.
That's right!
Right.
There's not a man today who could take me away from my God.
You good looking. You're hot.
It's like looking in a mirror.